Welcome back.
Hello.
Hi. So I'm here with JazSaro with Real Life with JazSaro. You was telling me earlier a little bit about charity work from different Asian faiths, and Seva Society came up.
That's right.
Can you tell me a little bit about that charity and what they do over the Christmas period and the winter period?
Yeah, Seva Society is a Sikh society that has come together to help and serve the homelessness, people that are homeless, so feeding them basically. There has been quite a lot of different groups of the Seva Society, because there is even one in Delhi in India, and we've got one here in Bedford. So the Seva Society, there are different groups in different towns, different parts of the world happening. There is one in Canada, and what they're doing is it's part of the Sikh Gurdwaras, but they come together, they cook the food, and then they go out and they serve it to the homeless. Now when we had the couple of days of really bad snow just like not long ago in December, and it went really cold, Seva Society was out on the roads along Soho Road, and they were giving hot food and drinks to all the homeless, and really like helping them, giving blankets and giving them shelter. And it's been going for some time. We have the Seva Society here in Bedford. They feed the homeless every first Sunday of the month. I think it's every first Sunday or every last Sunday of the month, and you can go and really, you can have 2-3 meals, and it's all sort of like the community coming together, cooking the food and then serving. And it is upsetting though, when there is so much goodwill and so much good work like that being done, and then it's not recognised, it's not being shown in sort of mainstream media, like the TV news channels. You don't see it, you don't hear about it.
Because I was surprised if you didn't mention it. I would have had no clue about it, because there's no reference in any kind of media source.
Yeah, and even I have seen so many because the Sikh Gurdwaras are all around the world basically, and I have seen lots of videos through YouTube and on Facebook where Gurdwaras have been feeding a lot of the refugees who have been on foot, en route from one place to another, and on the way the people from the Gurdwaras have been packing food and taking it to these camps, so these refugees can have some good food. And also they I've seen some places they've actually welcomed them into the Gurdwara and have fed them at the Gurdwara, and
So would you
helped.
say that this goodwill is kind of integrated within the faith? Is it is it deep meaning within their belief about?
Absolutely, the Sikh religion is very much about sharing. There is in the scriptures that it says the Punjabi words bandke, meaning sharing everything. So you're supposed to, if you are earning, like for example, £100 a week, that's not a lot of money these days.
No.
But just as an example, if you're earning £100 a week, you still have to give 10% of that
Wow.
to charity.
Wow.
you know. So bandage, everything you have to share, you know, sharing your earnings, sharing your food, and that is why really the community, they come together to help and share things, you know. So the kitchen is shared at the Gurdwara, where, you know, everybody comes and enjoys a good meal. The services, you know, where they do the kirtan, is all shared. For you don't have to, you know, like sometimes here I see things being offered, but you have to pay a certain fee, and so people sometimes, if they can't afford it, they don't go. So it's only limited to the people that can afford it. Whereas in Gurdwaras, anybody can go. You just put what you can afford as a donation into the donation box. If you haven't got anything, that's fine as well. You know, you're not turned away.
Yes.
So you can enjoy a session of being in a place, a sacred place, a safe place, enjoying, you know, a meditative space while Shabad is going on, Kirtan is going on, scriptures are being recited. And it's just a very humbling experience, you know, it really is. And I've often been to Gurdwaras in different places, and you know, sometimes I see people, you know, who are homeless that are sitting there eating. I went to a Gurdwara in Kent with a friend a couple of years ago, and at the table where I was sitting, normally, you know, like there they sit on the floor, so you have these lines, you know, where you would take your tray and then you'd go and sit and share, you know, a seat with somebody. So, but that day I was having some pain in my hip joint and I couldn't sit on the floor, so I went to sit at the table.
Right.
So they've got some tables at the side for, you know, people who can't sit on the floor. And I noticed that there was a Caribbean gentleman who was sitting in one of the tables, and he was sitting on his own. And so I said to my friend, I'm going to go and join this guy.
Yes.
And, you know, speak to him. And so my friend came and joined me as well. We sat at the table, and he looked at us and said hello.
Yeah.
And so I, you know, said hello to him, and I just sort of like allowed him a few moments of space, and then I started to engage conversation with him. I said to him, oh, so like, what do you think of the food? Is it nice? And he said, yes, it's lovely. I love this food.
Good, good, good.
And I said, do you come here often? And he said, I come here most days because I'm homeless. I don't have a place, and this is the only place I can be fed. My heart, when he said that, this is the only place I can be fed, it was like my heart just wanted to cry, you know. And so, you know, I just sort of like smiled at him and said to him, that's really lovely, you know, it's lovely that you can come here. I'm so pleased that you do. And yeah, so
and I suppose on the flip side of the coin, it's about a kind of meaning that how lucky we are to have things that, you know, I'm not sure I take for granted, like food in the cupboard, running water.
Yeah, we do sometimes, don't we? We just take those things for granted, that we have everything. But, you know, for me, I'm always reminded not to take these sort of things for granted, because in, you know, as you know, in my previous video that I shared the story about, you know, my family experiencing homelessness,
Yes,
and
yes.
not having food. And so for me, it's always a reminder, you know. Yeah, so I'm always
there's that kind of deep meaningful.
yeah, telling myself all the time, you know, how grateful and how grateful I am, you know, and thanks to the higher powers, whether we want to say God, whether we want to say Vaheguru Ji, whether we want to say, you know, whatever name, but the higher powers, to kind of just always be grateful and thankful. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Thank you.